Hey, welcome back. Thanks for clicking into the video. I know I've been kind of phasing in and out of this channel a bit. That's mainly because I've been sort of trying to find my way, trying to find my golden path, my niche, whatever you want to call it. So really quickly in this video, I want to tell you guys where I've been and also where I want to go. So I can kind of blanket the whole statement by saying I've just been busy, which is kind of true because I do work full time. I'm just doing this stuff on the side, but that would just be an excuse. But on a related note, I know that some of you guys have asked in the comments before what it is that I do for work. And I actually work in tech. So I'm currently at a startup company right now. So if you guys are interested in learning more about the whole tech scene, the whole Silicon Valley dealio, let me know in the comments. I think it's a pretty interesting subject. There's a lot to talk about in terms of what it takes to get here and all that stuff and what it's like being in it. So yeah, let me know in the comments. But just to be pointed, there are two reasons why I haven't been making videos. And the first one is the Panasonic GH5 camera. I think you guys may have seen in the past I purchased this camera, not the whole setup, because I wanted to kind of up-level the quality of the production here on Corner Balance with that camera. But as it turns out, the thing sucked. The thing would not autofocus. I cannot believe that a camera in this day and age cannot autofocus. And that was a huge problem for these kind of format of videos that I'm trying to do. It was always like hunting for focus. Like for example, if I'm sitting here just talking to the camera, it might just go out of focus all of a sudden and then I'll lose my train of thought. It was horrible. In fact, here's a clip of a previous Lotus video where I'm trying to focus and talk on something, and you can see the thing just kind of hunts back and forth for focus. So that thing was trash. I cannot believe it was such a highly recommended camera. I do admit the camera quality, or sorry, the quality of the image was really good. Definitely no complaints there. And everything else about the camera was really solid, easy to work with, but the autofocus, that's a pretty big piece. I mean, you gotta have that, I think, especially for like, you know, these type of videos. And that was severely lacking. So in the end, I ended up just selling everything, all my gear, even the microphone that I had, down to the SD card. And then I kind of resorted back to using my camera phone for a lot of the previous videos, like the Lotus videos. And honestly, it felt kind of cheap. I didn't really feel good about it for obvious reasons. Because my whole goal, again, going back to why I even did the whole GH5 investment, was to kind of bring up the standard, because I personally, if I want to do something, I want to have a level of standard. But now, after much deliberation, I'm back. I dug even deeper and I went with a completely new camera setup. This time I'm using a Canon EOS R full frame. It has dual pixel autofocus, which basically means the focusing works. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys think about the video quality that you see right here on the screen. So let me know in the comments. I personally think the quality might be a little bit too clear because now I'm getting kind of self-conscious. You can see things like this pimple on my head maybe a little bit too clearly. So I don't know, maybe I'll down-res the output to like 480p or something like that. Anyway, camera stuff aside, the second and more important reason in terms of why I've been on this hiatus is because I've been sort of pulling back and observing and reflecting on where I've been. Since I first joined Corner Balance, it's been now 2 years since I've been making videos. So I've been kind of like, you know, scanning back on all those videos and really assessing and focusing on what my preferred subject matter is. I'm personally from the school of thought that you should always focus on what you do best and not necessarily on the things that you don't do well. Because I feel like people naturally have a gravitation to certain things, to certain aspects, certain characteristics, and those are the things that you should put your eggs into the basket on. I mean, there's some things that you're just not good at, so why force it, basically, right? Like for example, I used to play guitar. I liked it, it was fun, but I realized I didn't really have a natural knack for it. So I dropped it and moved on to something else that I was more inclined to. Same thing with this YouTube thing. I realized that the whole build videos and all that stuff that I did, like for example with the A86, that's not really my strong suit. That's not really my personal niche, I don't think. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that do it in a more dedicated and professional and full-time fashion. They actually have their own shops. They do it better in a vlog format. They have a good system around it. They have a revolving door and all these new cars that come in and out. For me, I think to excel at that type of subject, you have to really prioritize the YouTube entertainment aspect first, and then the car build culture and all that stuff is kind of secondary. For me, it was sort of different. It was inverse. I was always doing the cars that I wanted to do first, and sort of kind of sharing and cataloging and bringing guys along as sort of a secondary thing. And honestly, I think the whole car building thing here on YouTube has its own subculture, its own genre, and it's not really my forte. It's almost like reality TV, so to speak. And I don't really like, I guess, the ad hoc type of stuff. And again, also from a logistics standpoint, I can't really keep up with these type of builds to that capacity because I'm trying to do things to the best of my abilities, the way I want to do it, and not necessarily, I guess, doing things in a more entertainment sort of fashion. So there's a lot of things I can't skip because of it, right? So it doesn't really scale for me as one individual doing it that way. And again, there are a lot of people here on YouTube that do it far better. They're completely dedicated to that subject. So why try to do something that I'm not really that passionate about, I guess. My forte, the things that I really like to do is kind of stems back to the old blog that I had, grandmighty.com, quick plug right there. I really like to catalog things and really lay out topics and ideas in a structured format. So that's kind of where I want to go with Corner Balance. That's kind of where I want to go with a new series of videos that I want to try and push out. And again, I want to live up to the name of Corner Balance because if you guys kind of take a step back and think about what type of person actually corner balances their cars, it's that really advanced user. People who corner balance, honestly, I think are at the upper percentile of the population, the minority. The average Joe or the average enthusiast is not going to corner balance their car. I mean, you only do that when you've done everything else, and that level of refinement, that level of dialing in makes a difference for you. That's when you actually go and corner balance your car. So on that ethos, on that type of philosophy, I would like to try and up-level the discussions and the whole ideas being shared here on this channel because I think if you're going to spend time to watch a video, you want to gain some sort of insight. You want to take something away from it, some sort of value. Maybe you learn something, maybe it's just a new perspective, maybe it's a new angle of looking at something, right? Because the biggest takeaway I personally had is from all this car stuff is not from working on the cars, it's not from having these various cars or these cool fancy parts that I'm installing. It's actually the life experiences and the kind of mindset that it's put me through and the process of me going through all of that work is the biggest takeaway. And that's the type of stuff that I really want to share and really give a more cerebral type of topic to Corner Balance. And core to this approach is going to be honesty and transparency because there are going to be some hard truths, but that's what you really have to home in on and hit over the head. So I consider myself to be a pretty direct and realistic person. So if we're going to go ahead and adopt this new philosophy here at the channel, if you guys can do me a favor, please like this video, especially if you are interested in the new content coming out. And I'm not just asking for a like for superficial reasons. I'm sure you guys are all aware of the whole YouTube thing. The more likes you get, the more engagement you have on a video, the more chances of it being recommended. The more chance of it being recommended equals more views potentially, and the more views equals more fuel for the creator to then go ahead and create more content and not disappear for months at a time. So give this a like, please. I would really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, that'd be awesome too. I'm really trying to, if you can't tell, I'm really trying to actually put some work into this thing. So like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram if you want to. And with that note, before I leave, let me leave you guys with a quick montage of the past couple years here on Corner Balance from my side. So cue the montage.